Welcome. Thanks for joining us, guys. I am Eric Gray, Director of Ministry at RockFish Church, and this is the Ministry Corner. In this series, we're going to be talking to two of our ministry leaders, Rebecca Overstreet and Katie Ray, about their experiences, their advice moving forward, and everything homeschool. So if you're interested, if you want to know more about homeschooling your kids, or if you want tips, this is the place for you. Let's get right into it, guys. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us for episode 2. We're going to talk again to Katie and Becca about how to homeschool. So let's get right into it. What was the first step? Either one of you take the lead here. What was the first step you had to take in going from public or private school to homeschool?
Yep.
So filing your intent with the state of North Carolina.
Wait a second. So you're telling me I can't just take my kids out of school and do what I want with them and teach them what I want. I have to tell the government what I'm going to do with my kids?
Well, I mean, you can do what you want, but if you'd like to follow the law and not go to jail,
Okay.
then I highly recommend
All right.
Just filling out a piece of
filling
paper.
out this quick. It's literally just an online submission form. It will take you 2 minutes max, and wait for that to get approved.
What's the typical approval time you see with that?
Depends on the time of year. Typically, like towards the end of the year and towards the beginning of the school year, it's going to take probably 6 weeks to get approved.
Or you can go to the we just went to the public school. They
Yes.
sign it, and it's that day.
Oh,
They're
really?
just- yeah.
Okay. So they'll actually help you with the process.
Yeah.
You're not forced to do it alone. Somebody who knows it, it's routine for them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like the public school isn't open in June, so there's that 1 month, but any other time is fine.
Okay.
Right. And,
Yep.
and then during the summer months, they don't actually accept the intent to file homeschooling anyways, because they close down to do auditing and things like that.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple months where they just don't accept that.
Okay. So the second we file that and we see it approved, whether it's 6 weeks later or we get it that day, what's the next step? What's the next real move we have to make as a family to make that happen?
Yeah.
How do you want to homeschool?
Yeah.
Deciding that amongst your family. How do you want to homeschool? What curriculum do you want to use? Do you want to use a curriculum? Do you want to just wing it? I mean, I feel it, and that sounds funny, right? But you can do that, right? There's a lot of people who believe in different styles of teaching, and they're all valid in their own aspects. And so really just figuring out what you want to do next, how you want to do this.
And if you have any bad experiences from the way they were learning at first, sometimes you need a little grace period to get them interested in reading again or interested.
So reprogramming the learning
changing your
and reset
mindset.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you both had year 1.
Yes.
What was your method?
So I contacted the private school that my kids were in, and I said, what curriculum did you use? And they used Abeka, which is like an all-in-one curriculum. You can buy the entire package per grade level. It will come with all the parenting materials, all the student materials, everything, all you need for this one set price. And that's how we did it.
Okay.
Because I said, this will be an easier transition for them, because
Yeah.
they'll be doing the same style of work, but they'll just be doing it at home.
Okay, so we did Abeka for the first year.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, because when we did this, I think we used Abeka first, the first year too. I think it was roughly $700. Am I way off? Is my memory bad?
Oh man.
So you're kind of close. It's obviously gone up since then. I think that for each child, because we just did that for the younger 3, we did some different things for my oldest. I think we spent about $800-900 per child for that.
The one year
Okay.
we tried it, I spent $1,000 for their online school, and then it goes up for high school.
Okay. Yeah, because there's that whole high school accreditation thing
Yeah,
that you want to have for that diploma.
Yeah.
So when they try and go to college, if they want to go to college, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so you guys didn't use Abeka, you used something different?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the name of that?
Well, we took that grace period because
Okay.
my kids were like, I hate learning. Don't teach me anything. And so what I did was we read a really cool story, and they loved it. They love corduroy, right? Corduroy is the best. And so we're like, okay, this is Don Freeman. And so we the library, we rented every Don Freeman book and like learned his style, and we colored. And so we were really flex. And so we did it that way. And we tried some Charlotte Mason approaches. There's free resources out there. Ambleside Online, we did that for a while, and that's all free. And they have all the links on there, and to books and to resources.
So are most of the purchases online? Is that like where we're going to find, like you don't go to
a convention? You can go wherever you want to.
Walmart to get homeschool
Well, there's
curriculum,
many different
right?
places
So-
you can go because there is, I mean, obviously online has a plethora of resources. You can go to each individual website. We started with like Christian book, right? And they have a whole homeschool section. And so you can scroll through and just see the different things out there.
Yeah. You're not going to find the homeschool aisle at Walmart, though.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Or any other major bookstore.
So are there any websites we want to advise folks, hey, you might have success if you go
Check
here?
this out. Yeah.
Yeah. So where do we want to go?
For curriculums, I would go to Christian book because it has
A variety.
So is this just christianbook.com?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And look up homeschool
and
books
it has
for
a homeschool
math.
section, and then you can
language
look
arts.
by grade level. You can look
Yeah.
by subject. If you want to put your hands on books and look through, go to the homeschool store in Raleigh.
It's called
Okay.
a gathering place.
It's called the Gathering Place. It is a fantastic place. They have consignment books, so you can buy things at a used price. They have brand new books. You can flip through all of it. And they are really knowledgeable families. You know, they've all homeschooled their kids or are still doing it. And everybody's willing to help one another.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also homeschooling expos too that are really fun.
So what's a homeschool expo look like? Like, I mean, you got to go to a convention center or something like that? Like, I mean, is it much smaller
There's a bunch
scale?
of different ones. Like Wild and Free has one, Teach Them Diligently has one, and they like showcase a bunch of different styles on one place. And it's like your gardening expo or your tool expo. There's a homeschool where they have their booths and
Right. So, but I mean, like, where would you go to attend one of those? Where would you look for the announcements for
sure.
those?
I know Wild and Free, Teach Them Diligently, North Carolina, like Homeschool Coalition has resources for that too.
Okay, so this is a website we would go look for. So North Carolina Homeschool Coalition, you said, is that
Yep.
that's the website or whatever we would try and find those
I'll
connections.
remember the exact term and we can link it.
Okay,
or something.
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. And we will
Yeah.
show it in the video right now. So.
Cool.
So we've got those avenues, and you brought up this consignment thing. So that brings us right back to you said $800-900 per kid initially. Is there a way do they create the materials in a way, or is there a way to use the materials where I can use those same materials I bought for the oldest kid 3 more times with the other kids?
Right.
Perfect. Okay.
Right. We're
Yeah.
big families. So
it's initial
family
investment,
style
right?
learning is fantastic for certain subjects because your little ones are going to catch what their big ones are learning. And so they have, I know Apologia is a family style approach. And so we do science, and then they have like a section for the little kids, like with coloring pages and activities geared for them. And then they have more in-depth where the older kids, the high schoolers, might have to research something.
Okay.
Those
Awesome.
are really great.
Okay. And so both of these methods you guys are typically using are mostly hands-on book type learning?
Yes.
Okay. But I know there's like computer-based stuff out
Yeah,
there or
absolutely.
internet-based.
So my boys, I have one who is really good at math
Mm-hmm.
and one who only does math because I make him do math.
Of course, yeah.
They use an online program called Teaching Textbooks. It's fabulous. It's very engaging, and you're not writing on a piece of paper, right? Everything you're doing is computer, but it's animated, and it keeps them enthralled and interested. And that's been amazing for both of them because they're both like, look what I got. Like, you know,
It's like a game.
Yeah, it's like a game. And then it gives them it cheers them on when they get things right. And it gives them multiple chances to try and get a problem right. And so they've really enjoyed doing that.
So in doing those, like I know easily with the book, you'd be able to just browse through everything and be like, okay, I agree with everything we're about to teach my kid, right?
Right.
Okay.
But with the internet-based stuff, have you encountered anything where you were like, I'm not sure I wanted my kid to hear that, or I'm not sure this is the direction I wanted it to go? Have you encountered any surprises along the way that made you think twice or redirect the path?
I think a few times, but not majorly because we have identified ourselves as a religious school. And so I stick with Christian-based curriculum. And so I always flip through everything that they do ahead of time. And even with the math program that they use, the teaching textbooks, it has an online textbook.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so they have to look through that before they do the lesson. And, you know, I've peeked through there and I've not seen anything. And, you know, teaching textbooks is not a religious program, but they don't have anything in there. It was actually created by homeschoolers for homeschoolers,
Right.
which is amazing.
So it's not that they're taking Bible class or theology class in there as
Right.
part of the curriculum, but it's all...
It's math.
It's going to be in alignment with
Right.
biblical worldview, right? It's not going to corrupt that.
The
Okay.
programs that integrate biblical worldview, you can mix history in with Bible, or we have language arts mixed in with Bible too. It's just the curriculum you choose to grow.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So we talked about the first few steps we had to take. Now we got multiple kids in a household that typically, I'm guessing, one parent is doing most of the teaching, right? So quick, are dads involved? Or is dad just the principal that comes in for paddling when it's time?
No, so I'm the teacher and the principal.
Okay.
My husband is gone a lot.
Yeah.
And he's working for us. So when I tag him in is when we're doing some more of the unschooling type of things, which is the kids are learning what they want to learn. So my boys love to learn about tools, tractors, building. That's where I tag my husband in. And so there are days that maybe I'm headed to the grocery store, so I'll take the girls with me and the boys will go work. So they're learning real life skills with my husband. They're fixing tractors. They are, you know, my boys built a barn. They put the roofing on a barn.
That's awesome.
You know, they learned how to chop wood. You know, my oldest son is 15 and he mows the grass in a tractor.
Awesome.
You know, my kids learned how to drive tractors before they learned how to drive a car.
Yeah, it's cool.
We focus a lot on those life skills. And I mean, they're doing fractions when they're learning about the different sockets and,
Oh, man.
There
and
you go.
things like that. And they're using skills that they're going to use in their life.
Yeah.
Something that is going to benefit them. And so that's kind of his realm,
Okay.
right? And so that's where I tag him in at and I say, hey, your turn.
Well, right on. How about Mr. Overstreet?
Yeah. So my husband's in the Army, and when he's home, I love to tag him in because a father figure has that presence that just encourages a child. And so he'll help with the regular book work, but by then the kids already know their direction. And we do book work in like 2 hours in the morning.
Okay.
And then we're learning crafts and activities, hands-on things to kind of solidify what they're learning to. And he loves helping with that too.
Perfect. Okay. But in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
you are the primary teacher for most
Yeah.
stuff. When we first started out, year one, how many hours a day were having to be committed to teaching, following up on the work, making sure the kid's doing the things?
Yeah.
So how do we start out, and what's it look like now, a couple of years in?
Yeah. That first year, you still have that mindset of, okay, I need these 8 hours of school, right? And I need to, but then once you realize, hey, they learned everything that they needed to learn in these 2 to 4 hours in the morning, because they have individualized attention.
Right.
While in a public school, you're teaching 30 kids, and so it takes them 8 hours. We can do this quicker, and that was a real game changer for us.
But you've seen a reduction in time since you first started, or was it a reduced immediately?
Yeah, well, just tackling that aversion was the key for us,
Okay.
and finding joy in it, and that definitely reduced the time.
Gotcha. Okay, so once the kids are on board and they're like, hey, you know what? I don't have to be ready for 7.5 hours of school and a school bus ride and all that stuff. We can get up and do it in our pajamas or get fully dressed, whatever you got to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that never happens, right? But you could literally be done with school, before noon?
Yep.
With most or all kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you guys?
So I will say, first of all, the first year is the absolute hardest year. You're going to want to quit so many times,
Yeah.
but you have to keep going.
Yes.
Like, because it is worth it.
Yes.
That first year is so hard.
And we have all been there.
And we've all been there, right? So we started with using the curriculum that they were using in school, right? So I felt like we were doing school at home. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
So we were trying to get every single subject done every single day, and my kids were burnt out. By the middle of the year, they were like, we don't want to do this anymore. So we had to adjust, right? Like, okay, we'll do these subjects on these days we'll do these subjects. Like, and there's no timeline.
Yeah.
So the state of North Carolina just says you should homeschool 9 months
Yeah.
on a regular basis, right? They don't give you any guidelines other than that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make that 4 days a week. You can make that for 12 months. Like, you can do it for 10 months. You can do it however it fits your family.
Yeah.
So we were originally homeschooling, from like 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 or 3 o'clock. But nowadays, my elementary age kids are done in 2 hours tops.
Yeah.
My high schooler is done within 3-4 hours. My middle schooler, 2 to 3.
Okay.
And then they're free for the rest of the day to go learn or play or be creative or.
Yeah. Because like
the
you
world
said,
is up to you at this point.
sorry, like you said, we have to balance teacher, mom, and that family dynamic.
Absolutely.
And if we are so focused on teacher role, then they're going to resent that.
Yeah.
And then it's going to disrupt your family life too. And so finding that balance is really important.
So you have been able to achieve balance.
Yes.
It works well, right?
Yeah, most days.
Now, and we talked about this. You're two mothers that are married. We talked earlier, not on camera yet, about the ability for a single parent or the families where both parents have to work.
Yeah.
You think this is easily or it's accomplishable. It's something that can be done. You both are in agreement about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see? Is there any piece of advice you can offer to the person that finds themselves in that position where they either both need to work or it's only one parent at home?
So obviously I've never been in those situations, but I have seen friends and that are in our homeschool group. We know single moms who are absolutely amazing, who have 2 work at home jobs and homeschool their kids.
Yeah.
And they manage to do it all, and they serve in ministries.
Yeah.
I have another set of friends in our group as well who they both work full time. So the kids stay with grandma during the day, or they come to the job site with them and they're learning actual skills. And then they actually do book work when they get home. It is doable. Nobody said it's easy, but
Right.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
same thing.
And for like military families, my husband's gone 6 months out of the year. I kind of am a single parent.
Kind of are a single. Yeah. That's a fair statement. That's a fair. We find a lot of families in that predicament around here. So, but and so you do kind of live that lifestyle at times, and you're still able to accomplish this, and it's not extra overwhelming for any big reason.
Fun
Perfect.
fact: when your kids get older, they like to help, and
Absolutely.
they become awesome individuals.
Perfect.
We're not a military family, but we're a first responder family. And so he's gone all the time, all year long, right? And so we have to do that shift work. And my older kids step up, right?
Yeah.
Part of homeschooling is the fact that you get to do all these life skills. So my kids know how to do their own laundry. My kids know how to cook a meal. My oldest can follow a recipe with no problem most of the time.
All right. So last question, when it comes to the mom versus teacher part and that balance you spoke about, what do you say to the women who they want to pull their kids out of school, they want to do the homeschool thing, but they don't feel they'll have their own time, they don't feel they'll be able to, have their own identity, like it's going to overwhelm their life and they're going to shrivel up and disappear and ultimately fail? What is your word of encouragement for those women or fathers in that position?
Yeah. So setting aside time for yourself is important, of course. And also finding that community of encouragers, people in your corner, and no, maybe that's not your mom.
Right.
Maybe they will be very averse to that, but having friends like in a field trip group at church to encourage you and uplift you is really comforting.
Okay.
I definitely say to find your people. Because, we live across the country from anybody who's technically family. Our RockFish church is our family. We do life with these people. Like, we hang out at each other's houses. We don't just do the homeschool group together. We call each other when we're struggling.
Yeah.
We call each other just to chat. Our kids are friends, right?
There's true fellowship.
They're all
Yes.
growing up together, and we're spending time together, and we're there to encourage each other.
Yeah.
So I definitely say you need to find your people,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it doesn't have to be family, because family doesn't always support your decisions, right?
Yeah. Well, there's that. And even if they do support them, they can't physically support them necessarily
Exactly.
from a distance, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you, ladies. And we're going to wrap this up, and we'll come back for what we need to be able to homeschool. All right.
Okay.
See you guys later. Hey, thanks for joining us, guys. Hopefully this was really helpful and exciting for you. And if you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. Please like and share with anybody you know is interested in homeschooling their kids. Take care.